Right, this is my Renault Avantime 2002 that I've had for about 3 months now. Actually seems longer than that. Probably the most unusual car that I've ever owned, for a number of reasons. One, that it was such a rare car that there were only 8,000 made. I mean, it's just a small production run. It's a car that most people don't know. It actually was only produced over about 18-month period, and very low numbers sold in the UK. Most people just don't know what it is now. Looks like a Renault Megane or something on steroids. People just think of it as just a Renault because of the rear end, that sort of bustle end. But actually, if you really study it, you know that it's different to anything else that they produce, the family similarity. It's unusual because of what it is. It's a one-box design, two-door pillarless coupe, based on an MPV, and it's just an unusual concept. So on that basis, I guess it is probably, well, certainly is the most unusual car I've ever owned. I think one of the things that doesn't annoy me but kind of irritates me a bit is people don't appreciate actually how well designed it really is. I suppose it tends to look like a lump as it's one shape, but actually it's got a tremendous design. If you look at it objectively as a design exercise, not simply as a car, you realize it's actually quite well designed. A lot of thought's gone into it, and there are a lot of design features in it that are quite interesting. I like these little vents here, and the way that they've got little grills in there, and then the lines are carried on. Obviously it's predominantly plastic, the aluminium bonnet and aluminium rails, but the rest of it is plastic cladding. Another thing about the design I think that isn't really appreciated is this is 15-16 years old now, and doesn't look that old, because it, as the name of the car tells you, it was ahead of its time, and the design certainly was. And in some ways it fits in with modern cars. It doesn't look like an older car. But when you think about other things, I mean, this door, the massive doors that are very, very heavy, double hinges, they move forward as they open. They only open that far. As soon as you look in, you've got a dash, a whole interior that's minimalistic. All these hidden cupboards and places. It's got everything there, but it's all hidden away. Very, very few buttons and controls showing. Rear seats that are raised. And here, with one touch, everything opens. It's amazing. Look at that. The pillarless coupe. Look. I love some of the design features here. For example, these are plastic claddings. That's aluminium, that rail, but it's a plastic cladding. This little part here, look. A vent coming down on the end there. That's plastic, the black. It makes the window look as if it goes further back. And the lights. These diamond shapes. I mean, just so unusual. So really, it's a design exercise, in my view. But anyway, where have we got with the car? I've had when I first had it, we had it up on a ramp. Now I'll find out what state the car's in.
Corrosion here, haven't we? Oh, look at this. Wow.
Is that bad?
Well, it shouldn't be like that, should it? Wow. Look at that, look. Somebody's welded a bracket. Look. Oh, right. That's broken off.
Is that what the clunk might be?
No, it ain't the clunk. What that do?
Yeah.
That measures. Now it could either be. Have you got height leveling on here or not?
I don't know.
Don't think you have. What it could be is sometimes they control the headlamps. So because you've got a long car, if you put some weight on the back, your lights can be up.
All right, okay.
So that will then alter the.
Okay.
So somebody's obviously trying to weld it. So what we have to do.
What's all this then?
That's like a cooler.
Oh, I see.
That's for cooling. Now that usually tends to be. Well, that's hot water in there. I don't know why hot water. That's weird. Oh, and this is diesel. It's usually diesel.
It's petrol. Yeah.
Oh, petrol, yeah. You wouldn't
petrol.
cool the petrol down, I would have thought. There's a spring. Oh, this looks like it's had new springs.
On that thing it had new springs on that book a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and they're solid. This is what I was talking about, the stabiliser. Let's push this out of the way. What we'll do, we'll try it up the road and you can't feel anything yet. Oh, it feels solid. It's had a new tractor end, you can see it's done that. Had new legs up there, had new stabiliser links, one there, and that's new as well. So that's all been done.
Yes, I've said a lot of work's been done on the...
Yeah, it has. It's just a bottom supporting panel, but you might be able to get that. We'll find out in a minute. It's like it's been near the coast, sea, you know?
Yeah.
If you look at that, look at that.
Oh.
All we've got to do is clean it with a nail gun, take all the loose rock, and then just spray a wax. You know, wax oil.
Nothing I should be too worried about.
They're pretty solid. It's pretty solid stuff. It just wants refreshing and cleaning up. That's all. I think it'll be fine.
Because this looks all right. All this lot.
This one's fine. Yeah. We go further back. That all looks good. Look, it just wants a bit of cleaning up. That's all. And then spraying with wax. So someone sprayed here on the brake pipes. Yeah. In the past. So obviously had new brake pipes here.
Yeah, that was down on the list as well.
That done.
Yeah.
That's the original. There's your rear springs. Yeah, oh, look good. Just want to get a little bit of cleaning up, that's all. You know, but you've got to remember, it's what, 15, no 2 plates, 15 years.
15 years old, yeah.
So, no, that's not bad. And your record shows, you know, how much work has been done. Yeah. So really, it's not bad at all. It's had a new caliper in the front, but it looks like...
Yeah, that was on the list, yeah.
Here's another sensor here. So, I reckon it's all to do with the headlamp.
We found a few things that we needed sorting out. One was the air conditioning, and one was we reckon that was the condenser that had rusted away. And also we've got a rail that runs underneath the radiator. And that was completely rusted, but obviously all the chassis, as we saw underneath, is galvanized. But the rail, one rail that ran underneath the radiator, that wasn't, so that had rusted. But I've managed to source them. And here is the condenser that I've received. And here, this here, is the rail that goes underneath the radiator. So they're due to be fixed, replaced. So what do I think of the car? Well, I love driving it. I think it drives lovely. It's very quiet. The engine is very quiet. It's quite fast. I mean, it's a 3-litre V6 with a 6-speed manual. So you've got a couple of quite low gears to play with. And certainly second is a pretty rapid gear. I think the suspension, I don't know whether it's just my car, but even though I've had some work done on it since I've had it, I find it a little bit noisy. It's not as solid sounding as say my Volvo, the XC90, but maybe that's just the car. It's a bit of a worry sometimes when you think that a lot of these parts can't be replaced, you know, the body panels and everything is plastic. I've thought about buying a cheap, and they are about second-hand one, obviously they're all second-hand, but a cheap one that's not in too good condition, basically for the glass and the panels. Just have it as a spare donor car. I've seen a few red ones for sale actually, at reasonable prices. Would I buy another one? Well, yeah, I would. I think it's an excellent car. I just wish that it wasn't quite so rare, and maybe parts were more available, and then I wouldn't be so worried about driving it all the time. I think it would make a great everyday drive. And at the moment, every time I drive it, I just worry that I'm putting miles on it now and wearing it out. I just think that this car will be one that in the future is going to be considered a real rarity, and I think the values of them, which at the moment are absolutely rock bottom, I think unfairly so. I don't understand why they're so cheap. I think there's just no knowledge of them really. People they just don't seem to be aware of them. There's a small following of people who are really into them, really like them, but they haven't really been discovered yet by, you know, any of the people who are into sort of collecting cars. Anyway, the story will continue when we get the air conditioning sorted, because that's the only real thing that needs doing on this car now. The air conditioning isn't working, and hopefully it is just the condenser. So that will be fixed, I hope, in the next week or two. And the rail underneath the radiator, which is not that important, but that'll be replaced. Everything else works on the car, and I've had the corrosion done on the rails, so they're back to as new condition. It just needs a bit of another clean up again. So over the next few weeks and months, we'll probably follow the progress of this car. See what adventures we can find to have in it. So now we'll just put all the windows back. So look at this one here. You have to admit that the interior is really, really nice. It's not conventional by any means. It's similar, of course, to Space, which the vehicle was based on. But it's certainly an unusual interior.